What is up, world? It is AJ with 4th&20 Sports.
And I'm Mac. And we are super excited here today. We are here with the premiere, our first hour-long podcast, bringing it to you live on Facebook. You can also subscribe to us on iTunes, SoundCloud, our YouTube channel. We're going to be talking a lot today about the NBA playoffs, and we're definitely going to be talking about some NFL draft, which is coming up soon.
And we cannot be more excited to finally be here. As you've seen on Facebook, we've had these teaser videos actually for months now, and now we're here for the real thing. 12 o'clock Central Standard Time, like we said, right on time, promise, ready to go. It's been a good day, guys. We're so psyched. There's been enough going on in the NBA, enough going on in the NFL, and we're bringing it all to you, just like Mike said. Matt said, I don't know who Mike is. Mike is who we plan to be one day, right?
Yeah, all right.
These NBA playoffs, man. Oh my gosh, did you catch anything went on last night?
Oh my God, the NBA playoffs have yet to disappoint me. Not only with sound bites from all the coaches being really upset as always, but we're seeing a lot of interesting matchups. One thing that I'm really surprised about is seeing how, even without Kevin Durant, it's not enough for like Damian Lillard. He's just not going to do it. CJ is just not going to do it. You're looking at two guards that you thought could possibly match up with the Splash Brothers, but they were just no match. They were just no match, and it's really funny to see how they know it. The Trailblazers walk around like they know they're not good. And the fact is, like, JaVale McGee went off last night.
First things first. I never once thought that Nick Lillard thought that they had enough to stop the Splash Brothers. I mean, that's what they tell themselves, because what are you going to tell yourselves? Well, congrats, you made it to the playoffs, but the buck stops here. That's not what they were going for. Of course, they thought they could win, but deep down, they know they're not a match for the Splash Brothers. I mean, granted, yeah, they combined for 75 points in Game 1, and they lost. I think right then, even if you did believe you had a chance, you realize now it doesn't really matter what you do, because they don't have enough help yet. They just don't have enough help, and that was seen last night when they were clearly exhausted still from Game 1 and only combined for 21 points last night. They went 1 for 7 between the both of them from three-point land. Golden State was toying with these guys last night.
How often do you find a team that's so good offensively that also plays defense? I know Mike D'Antoni never found one of those. I mean, you're looking at a bunch of players that used to just be like, I'm going to shoot that three, and if I score 130, you're only probably going to score 110. But their defense is outstanding. Draymond Green is up there with Kawhi Leonard for Defensive Player of the Year.
Every single year.
JaVale McGee is not someone to sleep on defense. I mean, and Klay Thompson's one of the best two-way guards in the NBA right now.
Well, here's the thing I took away from last night's game. I mean, to be honest, I did think McCollum and Lillard would be a little bit more of a force last night. I thought they'd keep the pace and keep going, and that doesn't happen. It's basketball. Sometimes it doesn't work that way.
Sometimes it doesn't.
Right. But last night, Golden State was determined to come out and not even let them get close to doing what they did. They showed their depth last night. Steve Kerr brought out all the stops just to let them know, hey, you were happy we didn't have Kevin Durant. Well, guess what? We got a kid named McCaw who's not that bad either. He came and he played very well in Durant's absence. He wasn't the guy, of course not. But you know what was? The fact that they had JaVale McGee go for 15 points. The fact that they had, David West was in there getting rebounds, hitting blocks. McGee had 4 blocks. They had so much depth. Draymond Green, only reason he didn't get a triple-double is because he didn't score 10 points. But he did every other thing on the floor that you needed. He was the force. He was the lifeblood of that team. And they had what, 9 or 10 people?
And you look at that team like so Kevin Durant wasn't there. You still had 3 starters from the All-Star game playing last night. Kevin Durant, you don't need to use him right now because he's not necessary to beat an 8 seed. But I do think that you should still give him limited minutes in the next game just because, hey, keep the continuity. Don't let him lose a shot. I get it, warm-ups and stuff, and it's still number 8.
Shot.
People get cold. People can all of a sudden lose what they know their place on the court. Hey, everyone has their spots, and if you kind of let it slide for a couple games, especially in such an important stretch, aka the playoffs, you need to be on your game, and you need to be with the team, knowing how to be in rhythm. And I think Kevin Durant needs at least at least 5 minutes a quarter, if not.
So you think they should play him Game 3?
I think so.
Game 3 of a game they're up 2-0. Series they're up 2-0. A game they won last night by 20 plus. making it look easy. JaVale McGee's first 8 points were alley-oops. Like, it wasn't even...
There's
There's no need. You have a caliber play. First off, Kevin Durant is not people. I'm not worried about Kevin Durant losing a shot. He didn't play, 14 games in a row, 16 games in a row. Came back in, dropped 16 points. Not even trying. It's not Kevin Durant's not going to come in and have an issue continuity with this team. This team, you have seen, has already played very well without Kevin Durant. They've shown they can do it without Kevin Durant throughout the season. He showed he can come back and play just as if he'd never missed a step. If they are up 2-0 right now, yeah, they're going to Portland, but this is a team that they don't need Kevin Durant to beat an 8 seed, as you said. You let him rest. It's his legs that are every single moment being the injury problem. You let him rest because you have who next? The Jazz or the Clippers? Not really worried about them either. If they had San Antonio next, absolutely. Put him in. Let him get ready to go.
I can understand where you're coming from. Rest. None of those are bad points. Like I'm not disagreeing with you. Like, hey, let the man rest. But he's also coming off of, as you said, like he only played the last 4 games of the regular season. Like he's kind of out of tune, out of practice as it is. And that's not like, hey, it's Kevin Durant. I understand. Right. He was like led the league in scoring many years. He's an MVP. I get it. You have 2 MVPs on this team, and that doesn't even include the defensive player of the year and one of the best shooting guards in the league. So yeah, I also get you don't need him. But it would really be a nice thing to see Kevin Durant stay in rhythm. Or actually, stay healthy. Like, how about that happens once in a while, KD? Like, what are you doing? You're there to be like David West, just hope that the ring comes to you? You need to be able to play in the league. Like, and I need to see you stay healthy. I need to see you actually be able to bring it. I mean, one thing that I love about him this year on the Warriors, his defensive intensity seems to be, it's contagious on that team. They just like to play defense. It's like that never happened. You don't see that anymore. They're like, the Grizzlies kind of have that when Tony Allen's on the court. Unfortunately, he's injured, and that really hurt them this series.
A lot.
But that bringing up that, it's nice to see good defense. And obviously, we have nothing good to say about Portland right now because all we're talking about is how to manage defeating Portland and not even how Portland can beat the Golden State Warriors. So before we beat this horse...
is Portland getting swept?
Yes.
Yeah? 100%?
Even if Durant doesn't play.
Even if, well, she shouldn't. And you're exactly right.
All right.
It's sad that Portland's going to go back home and, just crap the bed. But it is what it is. That's just... You're an 8 seed for a reason.
But at least when they get swept, they don't have to travel very far because they'll be at home when they do. That's fair.
Well, so Golden State... Do they play the Clippers or the Jazz next round? That's the real question then, right?
Well, and here's the sad part. They're going to play the Clippers, not because the Clippers deserve to win this round. Not because they have the clear talent to do it. They got lucky that Rudy Gobert got injured. And it's unfortunate to see a great player go down and halt the progress of an up-and-coming team. Because if you look at the Clippers, they're this way, and the Jazz are this way. Now, they're both meeting right in the mediocrity middle, but at least one's on the rise. But one is, I can't wait for that team to be blown up. The fact is, Blake Griffin is not going to be the staple that holds Chris Paul and DeAndre Jordan together. Chris Paul, hey man, you need to get off of that team. You need to go to a team that actually stands a chance. Go be the backup to the Cavs or something. I don't care what you do, but you're not going to win a ring.
That'll never happen.
Hey, I don't know, the Banana Boat Boys, they like to chill.
Chris Paul's too much of a pit bull to be a backup. That's why you think Tony Romo is a commentator now. Chris Paul's not going to be a backup.
Hey, if Tony Romo wants to play, he has teams to play. He's just going to get sacked and injured by the third game.
We're not talking about playing on the Mavericks. That's a completely different thought process. I'm just saying that. I mean, and I get it was just hyperbole. I don't think you think Chris Paul's going to go sit behind Kyrie, and if you're telling me that, we can hit the stop button right now. Go on with the rest of our 4th and 20.
Well, why not go to the Cavs and have Kyrie be the number 2 and have Chris Paul be the field general? You know what? That would make it a lot easier for LeBron in the 4 than you get Melo in the 3. I'm just saying, there you go. And then Dwayne Wade coming off the bench as the 6th man. The Banana Boat Boys just made it, and Cleveland actually can win a championship.
Oh my gosh, talking about pipe dreams.
Oh man, hey.
So, as I was trying to say.
Anyway, the Clippers are not going to win a championship.
No, that wasn't even a question. And sadly, the thing is, this whole talk about them getting blown up, it's sad because, what the thing is? They missed their chance. Their chance was 2 years ago.
Right.
A chance 2-3 years ago.
Right before the Warriors got there.
Yeah, basically, I mean, when Blake Griffin was still jamming on every single body, he wasn't injured. DeAndre Jordan isn't where he was now. Him and Blake kind of switched places. If DeAndre Jordan could find a way to get a shot, which that will never happen. Some players just are who they are. But they would have just switched places, and it wouldn't have mattered anything because it would be just he'd have a bigger Blake Griffin, a pit bull, a rough dog, a rough rider in the middle, doing all those big things. But they missed their shot.
But you know, and like how we talked about the Warriors, their defensive intensity is contagious. There isn't that contagious defensive intensity. I mean, like Jamal Crawford, the ageless wonder. I can't believe how long he's been in the league.
Oh, yeah.
But like him,
year.
JJ Redick, like they don't really care about playing defense. They'd like to. They'd like to be better at it, but they know they're not going to be.
Well, that's the thing when you put all your ducks in one row. You know,
but like Blake Griffin is not shown to be good defense. He's soft. He's soft in the paint. He lets people that are way smaller than him bully him. I mean, hell, I've seen Kelly Olynyk bully Blake Griffin. I mean, you're gonna let like Sunshine like bully you down in the paint? That's ridiculous.
Okay, first off, Sunshine has shown he'll throw somebody around. AKA Kevin Love.
Yeah, I was going to say.
And secondly,
the only reason he didn't go to Celtics.
Secondly, you don't make anything of Doc Rivers saying he wants to keep this team intact. He doesn't. He thinks they're a piece or two away from. I mean, if they go into this draft and get a good defensive player or two,
here's where Doc Rivers on the Celtics is now what? That was 2008 the last time he won a championship. Yeah. All right, 2008, we're almost a decade removed
almost there.
Of Doc Rivers being now a championship coach. I get it, the pedigree's still there. It's nice to be like, oh yeah, Doc Rivers, well, how great he was. We are almost a decade removed. That is like saying Tiger can still win a major. No, we are now talking about, wouldn't it be great? We're not eating the member berries here. I remember when Doc Rivers coached the championship team. Want to know what I also remember? He wasn't the GM of that team. He didn't assemble that team. But you know what? Doc Rivers traded for his son because his son wasn't going to do well in New Orleans, and at least he gets to play with him. You know, Doc Rivers, he's just not capable of building that team. If you're going to tell me that you think that the big three of Griffin, Jordan, and Paul is comparable to Ray Allen, Kevin Garnett, and Pierce, you're out of your mind. You're just straight out.
It's a different kind of big three. It's more like having Rondo, KG, and then bringing in like what's somebody's name who cannot remember. Played power forward. It's another big power forward name. I want to say he went to the Nets, but either way, that's not the point. It's a different type of big three. I don't think
it's a big three that doesn't win a championship. The other one did. Well, this one doesn't get out of the second round.
Well, here's where I'm going with this. If a blow up is coming, you're telling me they brought in Doc Rivers to give him 5 chances, and then start a brand new rebuilding process? Like, where does he? Because most people believe he's still going to be the coach next year. You're going to have him send all these pieces off and start brand new with what? Like what?
Hey, want to know what I know is he has just as many championships as Vinny Del Negro did. And you know what? The Clippers, with all of their money from their new owner, from all of the success that they've gotten from the failures of the Lakers, they still can't bring in the pieces to win. You brought in Paul Pierce? To do what?
It's very well known that Doc loves his people.
Doc is nostalgic, and you know what? He would ask Kevin Garnett to come out of retirement and play for him right now.
Okay.
And you know what? He'd hit more free throws than DeAndre Jordan. That's for sure. And he'd play better defense than Blake Griffin. And that's for sure. But the fact is, we're talking about ancient people playing better than the young guys you got.
So who's leaving?
Blake Griffin's got to go. DeAndre Jordan's staying. That you got to convince Chris Paul that you're going to make the move. You know what? They bite them. They snake bite themselves every time that they make it to the playoffs because they're not going to get it.
So you would start your rebuilding process around DeAndre Jordan and apparently Austin Rivers.
Now, honestly, I would start my rebuilding process by thinking 5 years from now because the fact is you wasted your time. You wasted your time. It sucks. I get it. You don't want to admit it. I'm sorry, Los Angeles. But you wasted your time, and you're going to have no winners in that city for several years. Go to Oakland. Enjoy it. Like, they're going to win for a couple more years. Oakland will do it. That's Golden State, by the way.
4th&20 Sports, we're just getting started. If you are not watching live right here, don't worry, because we're going to have it posted up on YouTube. And if you're not watching live, you can't hear me say this, but you should probably be watching live. If you miss a video, you're more of an audio learner. We're on iTunes, we're on SoundCloud, we're going to be all over the place, so you won't be able to miss us. We've probably got a couple billboards. You want your name on the bottom of that billboard, hit us up, 4th&20 Sports at Gmail. We're talking NBA playoffs right now. The Clippers apparently are being blown up. Golden State's on their way to a sweep. Memphis is getting rooked all over the place.
Take that for that.
I don't understand why everyone's making a big deal of this. I mean, I get the foul trouble part of Memphis, but they're acting like Memphis had a chance in this. I mean,
Memphis played the Spurs very well this year. And now, to be fair, they won the game that Kawhi didn't play. And as a guy who should have been considered more highly for the MVP, he's really led his team. With his great defense that is not quantifiable.
Yep. Keep on going.
And LaMarcus Aldridge has been playing great. Yeah, LaMarcus Aldridge is doing what Al Horford wishes he could do. But anyway, I'm not
going to set me off early.
I'm just saying. I'm listening. Look, the Spurs are obviously a favorite team to go up against the Warriors. But you know what? We've seen the Spurs lose to the Grizzlies before as a high seed against a low seed in the playoffs.
Do you remember that team, though?
All right. I mean, don't sleep on Timmy D. But all I'm saying, man, is that the Grizzlies, they do bring that fire. I wish Tony Allen could have been playing. I wish Tony Allen could have really, at least put a damper on the stupid moves that Tony Parker seems to be getting off right now. They don't. Mike Conley, why aren't you guarding this old French guy? This old French man is not as good as he used to be.
That's a fine wine, though, Tony Parker, man. I thought he was going to retire years ago, and this man's still putting up 22 points and 18.
Spurs are still willing to pay him. I mean, I thought Manu was gone, too.
I mean, Tony Parker may play till he's pop stage, the way it looks, man. He doesn't look like he's trying to run out of the building anytime soon. But when I'm getting at, it was atrocious the other night. There's no way you shoot 32 times in the paint and get 15 fouls, and then one player shoots way more times than your team.
But, and I'm not going to say that it's he's being rooked, though. I just think that
it was bad officiating is what I think.
When has there never been? Exactly there's always bad officiating. The bad officiating runs rampant. It's finding good officiating is like finding the four-leaf clover in the field. It's hard to come around. When have I ever watched a game and been like, you know what? The best part about this game was officiating. I nailed it.
I was going to ask if you watched the NCAA championship, but actually that was bad basketball with bad officiating. So.
Exactly. But if you have to sit there and then really think that the officials are really dictating who's winning games, well then why even watch it? This is an entertainment industry. And no matter what, if you're not getting entertained by the people they want to see win, then you're not paying close enough attention.
And that's what I'm getting at. Is it was sad to see it happen and the way they felt about it, but when it started going on, they were losing by 26 points. It wasn't like, they blew a 3-point game wide open because they couldn't get a call. They were losing this game from tip-off. They fought back.
They were gritty, man, and that's a Grizzly.
And that happened in the second half after they were angry about the officiating, and the officiating kind of tightened up.
But that's why you gotta like Fizdale, man. He really knows how to motivate. As a young coach, it's hard to find someone I think we're in a renaissance of coaching right now. You got Brad Stevens really knowing how to motivate young guys. You got Fizdale. Hell, he has a lot of veterans on that team. Yeah. It's amazing that he's able to motivate these guys. Even Jason Kidd is doing great in Milwaukee. We're seeing people actually be able to motivate these kids and these younger players and actually relate to them more, which is something that we were in the changing of the guard phase. We had to see it happen. Yeah. Basketball had kind of gotten a little we don't see 1998 basketball.
Not even a little.
You're not. There is no need for Twin Towers. That's why the Pelicans are stupid. But. The Twin Towers. You know what? Yeah,
we'll get there one day.
One day.
They're not worth talking about right now.
Yeah, they ain't relevant.
They're at home.
So
they're probably watching
worries.
this right now. It's no big deal. By the way, shout out to Marcus.
Sorry, Boogie. Don't hit me. You mad, bro?
Well, look here. I'm baffled. It just seems like too much people are worried. I think Fizdale just brought it out. And everybody's like, you know what? He's right. Memphis deserves a good chance. They deserved it because they got to the playoffs, but they never had it because they're playing the Spurs.
But at least he didn't sound like a whiny, I didn't get any calls.
No,
he brought out facts, man. He brought out stats to be like, look, It is ridiculous and statistically impossible for this kind of difference to be.
He brought out stats. He made a good argument. Then the league fined him $30, and then he went to like $30,000. Sorry, that's the way I see it.
$30 I'd pay is fine.
I don't make that. Found him $30,000, and he went back in the locker room and said, "So Mike, you got my back because I had yours, and if you could hook the brother
We're
up,
gonna start that GoFundMe.
I don't make my Conley money, You gotta ask your players. That's beside me.
Well, and although we're talking about some good point guards here, let's get down to the real question, and that's this Houston versus Westbrook series. Yeah, I won't call it Houston versus Thunder. Let's call it Houston versus Russell Westbrook, and why that even with a triple-double from your MVP.
You're right. He is the MVP. Thank you for acknowledging. Go on.
Yeah, definitely said yours.
That's fine. Mine and about 100 million other people. But
anyway, your MVP, why a triple-double and all of his great value only led him to an 0-2 start against the Houston Rockets.
It's easy for that to happen when you finally get to take a break in the game, when you already darn near locked up a triple-double in the first half, and then Billy Donovan said, "Hey, time for the home stretch. Westbrook, take a break. We're up 12. We got this." He's like, "You're right. Let's take a break so I can come back in the last 7 minutes and finish this off." Oh, but wait. I have to go back in the game a minute and a half because the rest of my team doesn't know what to do with an orange basketball when I'm not on the court. They looked hapless. Honestly, when Westbrook sat down, the entire Rockets bench looked like Ezekiel Elliott eating cereal, just chomping at the bit. It took them 45 seconds to drop this lead from 12 points to 6. That's ridiculous. You have somebody who's supposed to be Westbrook's tandem and Oladipo out there trying his best when Westbrook's on the court so he doesn't look shown up. When it's his turn to be a leader, he's standing at the top of the three and just looking for people to throw the ball. Create something for yourself. He had no shot. Now, before you get into it, so I know where you're going to throw at me. I don't agree with Westbrook's fourth quarter. I understand his mentality behind it. I understand why he felt like he had to be the one-man band. But if you're scoring a triple-double, you got 13 assists. You got 11 going into the fourth quarter. You got 13 assists now. And now you're shooting 4 for 18. Something should click. Hey, I know I can pass. I know they can hit. They're scoring off of what I'm doing for them.
But he lost all that confidence. He went and he was just waiting for them to stir in his favorite Gatorade flavor, and he turned around and they were down. Like, they were only up by 2 when he had to come back in. Like, what? 3 minutes later? And the fact is that when he watches McDermott, Oladipo, Adams, Cantor, who's supposed to, like, all those guys are offensively proficient. They're not all-stars. They're not all-stars. But they certainly know how to play the game of basketball. In fact, most of them are more known for their offense than their defense. Although that hit Steven Adams put on Beverly, he got jacked.
I feel like Steven Adams is like, you remember when you got my boy hurt a couple years ago?
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's just for that.
But, kudos to Beverly for getting up and, taking it like a champ. He laughed
hitting the 3 in that corner.
Well, Beverly's a dog.
He's a rough dog. He's a rough guy.
Underrated, but mainly because of his attitude. But I'm saying is, you can't watch all of a sudden the world fall apart on you after you've been Atlas and had it on your shoulders, and you're like, well, I guess it's time to put that backpack back on and go win this game for me. Now, that being said, this series isn't completely over.
I don't think that.
No. Like, when you can at least keep it that close after being blown out, and you're in their stadium, I think, and the Oklahoma City fans, there's no better. A fan base
they're
out
gonna be
there.
welcome with open arms. Even after that loss may have hurt, but the fans are going to be Westbrook's help in these next few games. 100%.
They're going to be
a sixth man.
Oh yeah, but they are so fired. Like, they don't stop standing until the first point is scored.
Yeah,
like that's what they do. And so I'm excited for this series to continue. I do think that there's a good shot.
Hold on, I don't want to leave this part yet because I don't think you're giving enough leeway to what happened in that fourth quarter last night. This game was lost by the Thunder and won by the Rockets in the fourth quarter, and I think Westbrook could have got out of it. I think he could have got out of the fourth quarter. When you're 3 for 11 at that point, you have to. I understand that these boys are not what you used to have. I understand that they weren't playing well. But when was the only time they weren't playing well? When he wasn't on the court. McDermott was not having a bad game. He was hitting shots from Westbrook. If you're that cold, you find an open Dougie McBuckets. He's going to knock something down for you off of your hit because everybody is chasing Westbrook to the goal because you know that's where he's going.
But now you see Westbrook running down throwing hands up, needing the ball, and just popping up ugly shots.
Ugly
Wide
shots,
open
and
and ugly shots.
And you know
like
what that
when he
makes
took
me
the
wonder?
3-pointer, there is the full lane to the basket. No one else had run back yet. He could have gone and dunked it.
Ran around and asked for another one. And that's where the NBA is going right now.
But you know, the fact is, he plays with good people that can make that. Like Enes Kanter, not great defensively, but he's a very well-rounded offensive big man. You can get him the ball in the post, and I get it though. There was this sense of urgency that wasn't necessary with that much time in the game. Yeah. I know, like 4 minutes is practically an eternity in a basketball game. And if Westbrook just slowed down his thought process about how bad his teammates were, and actually just was like, you know what, but I make my teammates better, that's where my value is. It's not that I'm so valuable that without me they're bad, it's that I make them better. And he didn't do that because he's one of the more selfish assist people since Rajon Rondo.
Yeah.
The fact is, he won't give you that ball unless he knows you get that bucket. And if he doesn't have confidence that you can make that bucket, you don't get the ball. A.K.A. Oladipo, A.K.A. Adams. Like, he saw them miss shots that he would look at them like, bruh.
After last night, I kind of feel like you don't get the ball after he's got his double-digit assists. Last night was one of the first times, and I've seen this over and over again. This has been one of my biggest knocks on Westbrook. As much as I love him, he's one of my favorite players. You know, I'm a Thunder fan, and it hurts to watch what's going on. But like last night was one of the first times I truly felt like he is just a stat sheet stuffer for the triple doubles that everyone talks about. Like you know it, but you don't want to agree to it because you know he doesn't have any help.
And that's why, although he's super valuable, when he gets in that mode, he devalues the team. Now, you may be the most valuable part on the team, but if you devalue the rest of it, I just don't see how you can be the most valuable player because the team needs to be valuable to be that great. And that's why Kawhi Leonard should be MVP.
So would you say that the age-old question, and I think we both know the answer, but did the Thunder lose or did the Rockets win?
Oh, the Thunder lost. The Thunder lost. And I go back and I replace that. Westbrook lost. Because it's not the Thunder versus...
No, I only ask because I do feel like we're not giving enough credit to Houston. I mean, down the stretch, they made a lot of good plays. Granted, Harden only had 35 points from 20.
Nothing makes me happier than seeing Eric Gordon play.
Yeah.
Eric Gordon
played really well
all the terrible injuries he went through, the not being given a proper shot, like... He definitely had a struggle of getting back into his career because when he came into the league, he was amazing.
Yeah.
He was one of those people that you were just like, oh my god.
Yeah.
But we've seen that all the time. Hey, O.J. Mayo, Rudy Gay,
Brandon
Roy, a lot of people. Like Greg Oden, we never even got to watch, and he could have been great. We don't know.
I know. You know why he got injured so early? Because he was 40 and he was falsifying his age records. Man wasn't 23 years old, wasn't 19 coming out. There's no way.
Well, anyway, but I see the Thunder pulling out one game, but this is over.
Yeah, as I said, it hurt my heart. And Westbrook will get you one, but I called it in 5. Please, I'm hoping for a surprise 6 game just to get one more to see if Westbrook can really prove to you.
Nope.
But we'll talk about that later. We'll talk about it a little bit. 4th and 20 Sports conversation still on playoffs. We're headed over to East Conference. Unfortunately, with the East, like all season, not really much to talk about over there.
I think you're underrating the East. I think the East has proven that it's a lot more competitive. We're seeing teams like the Pacers that were, out of the playoffs for most of the season. They looked terrible. They looked like they were about to blow up the whole team and get rid of Paul George. You don't know that.
Okay.
Unless
I don't know that.
The only thing I know is that if Danny Ainge wants it, then it'll probably happen. Because Danny Ainge gets whatever he wants. He's the craziest.
I mean, but that's the only way that happens is they basically give up the first pick or they give up 6 players.
Well, here's the thing. We've already talked about that. All right, so Isaiah Thomas, the best 2 players in the draft right now for your pick are 2 guards, the guy from Washington and Lonzo Ball. Yeah. And that just goes to show I think Lonzo Ball's better because I don't even know the guy's name from Washington.
Markelle Fultz.
Who cares? What I'm saying there is that are you going to put Lonzo and Isaiah on the court at the same time, or are you going to let the Pacers get Lonzo Ball and take Paul George? Paul George, who could actually give someone to pass to that will score. The fact is, Al Horford looks so soft down there, he looks like he's still on the Hawks.
Yeah. You know,
the reason why they let him go and let Paul Millsap stay in Atlanta, there's a reason.
Well, hold on, because we're gonna get to Boston, Chicago.
Right,
I know.
Sorry.
You're good. It's just chomping at the bit, and I know if I start on it right now,
then we're gonna just let you know Cavs win that.
Because that was a question I have for you too. The Pacers, they don't get one at home.
I don't know if they do. Right now, I'm just questioning a lot of Paul George's leadership. Paul George, he's called out 2 teammates in the last 2 losing press conferences.
I don't like the way that has been portrayed, but continue.
I'll tell you why. And I don't think it's because he's like calling them out for their defeats. I think he is a great team player. Right. I think he understands that the team has lost those games. But he also, it brings up a great point with the Lance Stevenson thing. Body language is important.
Yeah.
And if you don't have the right body language, like for the whole game, it's contagious as well as playing good basketball and passing the ball around is just as contagious as guess we lost. You can't feel that way by the second quarter. You're not going to win games if you feel that way. And then that also comes into I don't have faith in their coach. I don't. I think that he's clearly not motivating these people in the timeouts, in the halftime. You can't rely on the players to do it.
I think he knows what's coming now. I think he knows next season's going to be very tough, and he's going to be losing a lot of good pieces. With the whole Paul George calling people out, I mean, he was asked specific questions about specific players. You know, he asked about, you seemed angry when C.J. Miles put up that last shot. Which, I mean, I get it. Paul George deserves the last shot any chance he can get it. But the fact of the matter is, in that moment, a.k.a. the live moment of a game with the final seconds down, you don't know if he's going to get that shot off. If you pass it back, you have to take that pretty wide open look for an NBA player. He didn't have space forever, but, they were doubling Paul George. They were trailing Paul George. You get the ball back, he jacks up a shot and hopes to be Derek Fisher with .4 left. I don't blame C.J. Miles on that shot whatsoever. Now, we didn't get a chance to prove it in Game 2 that he deserved the last shot.
But I would still rather see either Mana Ellis, Lance Stevenson,
I wouldn't give Mana Ellis that last shot in this series whatsoever. Man's like 2 or 4 for 12 right now in the last 2 games. He's not the volume player he used to be.
Maybe I just love a little Monte Ellis. Maybe that's
Monte Ellis is a great player, but he's not playing like it. And you see this every year in the playoffs. There are people who just don't bring the fervor that you've seen them play with for whatever reason.
Some people are just happy to be there
and they fall out,
But overall, I think the point of this is the Pacers, they're kind of falling apart at the seams.
Yeah. And
with that happening, we just need to see them really tighten it up, really get it together. And if they get it together, they're really going to give Cleveland that 6-game series. But right now, they look like a 4-game series. And they need to tighten up and really crack down that defense. Frustrate these players. If you're not frustrating them enough, that's the problem. You're going to struggle. But I think that's enough of that. I just don't see how we can even beat that point anymore over the head. I like the intensity that they bring, but the fact is, I just don't see the Pacers making the right moves to win any games.
Games?
I think that they get swept right now. I just don't see it.
I believe they're gonna steal one at home. I really do. It's just kind of one of those things where, you're always ready to call a team out down 2-0, and some of the times that's exactly what happens. But Paul George at home is absolutely sensational. Lance Stevenson at home for the Pacers, absolutely sensational. I mean, you remember the season. The reason they think of Lance Stevenson as a leader is because the season Paul George is down, he was a man. Lance Stevenson triple doubles here and there. The year it came out, he held that team together in the moments they needed it. So I think they still won at home. I feel that's just the way it goes. Maybe the second round.
What are they going to arrest LeBron, and that's why?
Because they wouldn't do that. They never arrest LeBron.
Oh my God, I can't imagine what would happen to that
on the road.
Oh my God, the mind blowing up. They arrested LeBron in a playoff game.
I think the only thing that would make that awesome is if they arrested him in the playoff game, and every soundbite that came from that was Archer. Just making fun of all of that. If we can get H. Sean Benjamin on a line somewhere and make that happen, that'd be cool.
That'd be nice. All right.
We could
hopefully you're watching.
Atlanta, Washington. We know how this is going to go down. Last night they made the game interesting, but John Wall 32 points again. Just kind of It's kind of unstoppable. That's my sweep, if you ask me.
The Atlanta Hawks are the Alex Smith of basketball. It's just like, why are you just so mediocre? Like, I get it. Hey, you pass the ball pretty
Alex Smith's
well.
a Pro Bowl quarterback. Alex Smith's a Pro Bowl quarterback.
You know what? Well, the Hawks were a 1 seed not too long ago over the Cavs. So, it's just like, they know how to pass the ball. They don't have the true playmaking capabilities. Hell, there was a moment where that team was ready to blow up their whole team this year.
Oh, wait, you're misunderstanding me. I'm not, I 100% agree with the Hawks. I just think you're not giving Alex Smith enough credit.
No, if there's anything, like, if you go mediocre quarterback, I go Alex Smith. It's without a doubt, first name that comes to my mind. And there's a lot of bad, and then there's a lot of good. Well, not really a lot of good. But quarterback play is struggle. Anyway, back to the point. Atlanta clearly doesn't have what it takes to dethrone what Bradley Beal and John Wall are doing. John Wall went off yesterday. John Wall did John Wall. John Wall looks great. John Wall makes you go, I wonder if he's better than Lowry or Kyrie. He makes you think that. Doesn't make it happen. Doesn't make it so. But I really think that he's playing so well, and I think he's a way better defender than both of those guys.
I think he's a better all-around player than both of those guys.
All right, well,
all right. I was like, what made it happen was it was just a fact, and I know that for years.
But he's been on Washington for years.
Hey. And look where they are now.
Yeah,
he'll take a thank you. He'll take a thank you. I don't want to spend too much time.
This game is not worth it. But going into that, the next duo that we were going to talk about was Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan. Clearly, they're not the best player in this series. Either of them, with Greek Freak looking like he does. I
gotta be honest. I'm really sad I haven't gotten to watch enough of this series. I just haven't been able to be around the television that had volume or where I could literally zone in on this one. But if you remember, this is the one I thought would be the upset. I was really hoping Milwaukee would go up 2-0, but going back home 1-1 is a very good
basically
thing.
You're starting the series over with you having home court. And I really like Milwaukee right now. Milwaukee, I didn't think that they would come with this fire. I don't like Greg Monroe. But Greg Monroe's playing well.
I don't know what happened to this man, though. He's not bad. He's not bad, obviously.
But
he's not what he was when he was in Detroit.
No.
You know? Could you imagine if he was?
I mean, that's why Detroit drafted Drummond.
I was ready for that. I thought that was the start of them getting ready to make a run.
Nope.
And then they're like, we'll take Tobias Harris.
Yeah.
We're going to go there.
Yeah.
Let's just real quick on this question. Do you think, how do you see the series ending up now that they're 1-1? Are you coming over to my side? Do you think Milwaukee has the upset? You still think they're actually get it done?
No. I think Milwaukee's coming in with some severe fire, but when you burn all that gas at the beginning, you start running on fumes towards Game 4, and I think they might even take the next one.
Too young for fumes.
I think they might go up 2-1.
And then that's it.
And I think they might and then I think it goes to Game 7. I'm not doubting it, and that's where the coin gets flipped. And honestly, if it goes to Game 7. It's going to come down to, does DeMar DeRozan get to the line enough, and does the Greek Freak get into foul trouble? If the Greek Freak gets into foul trouble, goodbye Milwaukee. But it's going to be, and clearly Toronto has proven that being at home is not a good thing.
Yeah. We'll leave that one there.
We'll find out.
We'll leave that one there.
But that brings us to one of the most mind-boggling series of all time right now. The Bulls versus the Celtics. Now, I get it. There's a lot of veteran savvy on the Bulls. That team was built to be in the playoffs. It was not built to win 60 games. No. That I get. That's fine. And obviously, Rondo playing with a lot of fire because he's playing the Celtics, a team that basically said, you're really not a part of any future. You're kind of just a bad guy. But
this series, Game 1 was a little surprising. Game 2 kind of made you open your eyes. Chicago didn't have a chance in the beginning when they put them together, is what everyone thought, because they were in that three-way tie. They inked into the playoffs by
their Nets risking their players.
So you're just like, all right, cool. Well, Boston gets an easy run to the second round, and then Chicago showed up. Chicago just walked into the TD Garden and said, you know what? We're going to play some basketball. We're going to hit shots. Dwayne Wade's going to rest and see what we can do Game 1, and then he's going to come out and be explosive in Game 2 and realize with his help, they may be a little untouchable. And now they're going back to Chicago. Is
I mean, Jimmy Buckets is real. Jimmy Buckets is real, and he's better than any of the small forwards that they got. It like Jay Crowder's not going to stop Jimmy Buckets.
Do we see the first ever 1 seed swept?
I don't know.
That's what it's looking like right now.
I don't know.
That's what it looks like it's headed.
I mean, Isaiah Thomas is playing with baggage. Al Horford's playing soft, and then you got a bunch of like role players, we'll call them, because none of them are scorers. You got Avery Bradley, who's great at D, and unless all of a sudden he's making his shot, which is like once every 5 games, it's very tough. Like you don't really. I think that you saw a team that wanted to be the number 1 seed, but didn't want to be the NBA champion. I've seen that in the Celtics, and when it comes down to the Bulls, I'm seeing a team that is like, we got one more chance of us making a championship. And I think that the Bulls, with Jimmy Buckets, with Rondo, with all of his knowledge and all of his great passing, I get it. I also say that he's one of the more selfish passers, but I think he's gotten a little bit better about that, especially with like the leadership of a Dwayne Wade on that team. I think that they really made moves, and they got some of the bad blood out of the locker room.
Yeah.
Like Taj Gibson did not like the fact that these people were there.
Yeah, he was. He really enjoyed the team they had when Derrick Rose was in his prime.
Yeah.
When Noah was there.
But the Bulls dogged Taj Gibson his whole career. They're like, "Don't worry, you're going to be the starting 4." Psych, Pau Gasol. Hey, don't worry. No, like you'll take over when we get rid of. Nope. They did not respect him. Robin Lopez playing great right now, but Robin Lopez has always been a great role player in the playoffs. He did it for Portland.
I mean,
he did that for Phoenix.
He's been a role player, and that's going to be his role, basically his career, and that's okay. That's
great because look, he's more playoff games than Brooke.
Yeah,
and Brooks the star, but you know what? Robin's gotten into the playoffs.
Yeah. So how do you see this series ending? How do you see the series ending? You don't see it ending.
I don't want it.
We'll be on
don't want it to
next
end.
week.
It's best out of 15. Come on. Hey, please. No, unfortunately, I just don't think that the Celtics are in the right mind. They look defeated already, and when you have to come back from mentally defeating yourself, they're going to go down as the worst number 1 seed ever in the history of playoff basketball.
Total.
In total. And that brings us to our to the top 5.
First top 5 segment.
Yes, I'm excited. We've been talking about doing this segment for a little bit. We're doing our top 5 worst number 1 seeds in playoff history. And to start it off, we go back to the 2007 Mavs. For me, that's my number 1.
Why don't you back?
Why don't I start?
Go for number 5?
Well, the 1993 Suns.
1993.
They lost. I believe it was the Sonics.
Pretty. Yeah. It might have been.
Yeah. To the Seattle Supersonics, a team that had no real business. 8 seeds. They shouldn't. I know it's a lot different now with the NBA being so top heavy.
Right.
That 8 seeds are below 500. But those Sonics were no good.
That's funny though. See, because yours was the Suns. Mine is actually, my 5th one is the 1994 Sonics, who actually lost to the Denver Nuggets. I put them at 5. They could have been a little bit higher, but that was when you only had to win 3 games in the first round. So, I kind of gave them a little pass there, but there was no reason that was the first time a number 8 seed came up and beat a number 1 seed. And so when they were out, I was like, that's impressive. Number 4, I actually have this year's Celtics. Their pass, and this is the thing, I actually don't want to give them the pass everyone wants because of Isaiah Thomas's family tragedy. I get it, but if you ask me, that's a little bit of what's fueling him to be so good. Like, that's who he's dedicated.
He hasn't played any worse.
Right. Everybody else is who to blame on it, but the way it's looking and the fact that the series isn't over, I'm gonna put him at number 4. It's essentially over, but it's not.
And that's why I didn't put them in my list only because the series isn't over.
I think it's clear.
They could make a comeback. You don't know. But then I went on to pick the Heat next. The Heat in 1999 when they lost to the New York Knicks.
Yeah.
Patrick Ewing.
Latrell Sprewell.
Allen Houston.
That's my 3rd.
What a great year that was for the Knicks. And to be fair, that's why I have them kind of in the middle.
Yeah, we're in the
right around there because the Knicks ended up going to the finals.
Yeah.
They were in
They took that run.
They took that run and they went all the way.
Yeah.
Of course, the Twin Towers of
yeah.
David Robinson and
Getting their first
the
chance.
Knicks that year, but the fact is that was a great team.
Yeah.
And Tim Hardaway, Alonzo Mourning were amazing that year, but they just didn't have what it took. You couldn't stop Patrick Ewing, and the Trellis pretty well. He wasn't choking coaches, but he certainly was hitting big shots.
Yeah, he hit that one on the head. I mean, I couldn't agree. I mean, like I said, I have them at 3, so we're right around the same area. I have the 2007 Mavs for my number 2 squad. When they lost to Golden State, that was at the 3rd time an 8 seed beat a number 1. I'm pretty sure.
I think so. I think that was the 3rd one.
Yeah, I mean that came 13 years later from the last time. So,
but for my number 2. I went with the 2012 Bulls.
I can't believe we switched these picks.
Yeah. No, but the 76ers were riding on horrible fumes. I couldn't even believe that they were in the playoffs. They were talking about that was Iguodala's team.
That's why they're my number 1. There's no reason these Bulls with MVP caliber Derrick Rose lost to the 76ers, the trust the process 76ers, who are still, by the way, trusting the process from back in 2012.
But they were also like, hey, we got it. We're going to get 3 of the same player on one team, and Evan Turner, Andre Iguodala, and another guy who I can't even remember anymore.
Because that's how irrelevant they were. They were 38-40 into the playoffs.
But the thing is,
the Bulls?
The Bulls weren't as good as the Mavs were. The Mavs in 2007 were just coming off of losing to the Heat. They were coming up fire. Dirk Nowitzki looked amazing that year. Was he not in the MVP discussion? Did he not even? He might have won the MVP that year. The thing was that you're looking at a team that was so built to go back and take what was taken from them that all of a sudden they go up against the Warriors, which when the Warriors got into the playoffs, people were like,
how did that happen?
Hold on, wait a minute. Chubby Baron Davis and Steven Jackson with the attitude?
Steven Jackson on it.
Hey,
that was the year Baron Davis put Kirilenko on a poster, though.
I'm just saying that Mavs team was built for greatness, and Mark Cuban watched his dreams get shattered. And it's nice to see when that happens. He doesn't accept my Shark Tank invites.
4th and 20 Sports here. That was our top 5 segment. We are moving on. We got about 20 minutes here with you. We're going to talk a little bit more. We'll do this a little quick. Remember, hit us up on Facebook. Hit that subscribe button. We are on Twitter, 4th and 20 Sports. If you're an audio learner, we're on iTunes. We're on SoundCloud, 4th and 20 Sports. Everything. We are finishing up our NBA playoff talks. We're moving on to the last couple games of the first round, heading on to the second round. Let's see. We already said it. The Cavaliers are going to go on to the second round. We're stuck on Chicago and Boston apparently. Even though I
guess I'm going Chicago.
I think Chicago's going to take it, but it's so easy to say right now, and it's not like the series can't turn around.
I mean, hey, we've seen teams be down 3-1 before and win.
Yeah. We both got Washington.
Moving on.
I got Milwaukee. I still firmly believe they're going to take it.
I'm going to go with Toronto.
You got Toronto.
I got Toronto.
The Western Conference, we both know the Spurs and the Warriors are going on.
And then everything else is irrelevant, but let's just call it Clippers and
the Rockets.
Yeah.
But we know the picks are in. But because we're just fans, we can still talk about it. This MVP race. It's Westbrook, right? After last night, after you saw what he had to deal with.
What I saw last night was him devalue his team. What I see every night from Kawhi is he leads the team to victory.
You're skipping over the other clear.
I don't like the beard. The beard is nothing to me. I don't believe in a Mike D'Antoni offense. It makes people who are not as valuable super valuable. And you know what? It clearly showed because he couldn't even play his own position. He had to move to point guard when he got into that offense.
He should have been a point guard.
Whatever.
He should have been a point guard. You saw how they used him in the OKC. He came on 6 man on the bench in that 1-2 hybrid spot. 1-2 hybrids are the best players on the court. You have to be.
In my opinion, it shows that you don't know what you're playing.
Westbrook. Okay.
Kawhi Leonard's a clear number 2.
And it's like, I don't know about clear.
But only because they keep getting smaller.
when you have a guy who takes your team to the 6th seed by himself, when you have a guy who gets to get a break, and that break is essentially you watching your team just step on everything you just did for them, that you are the most valuable player to your team. Like, without you is what I hear when I say most valuable. Without this player, where is this team?
Well, they're in the lottery. I agree with that. I agree with you on that, but and I'm not saying that you remove Kawhi and the Spurs aren't still a number 4 seed or something. But I just think that Kawhi and man, he's just so good. I believe his value goes beyond the fact that team is already great.
And that's my thing, because I think without Kawhi, they're still a team that you are talking about going to the Western Conference Finals probably every year. I mean, they may get surprised in the semis, but it's a good talent with the best coach of all time, Greg Popovich. I mean, you don't have 50 plus, 16 plus 50 win seasons.
Well, then why does Tom Brady get to be MVP?
Not last year, but we won't talk about what the MVP did that year.
Yeah,
we're never gonna. I mean, obviously, we're gonna split hairs on this until they announce it and Westbrook is holding the trophy, and I get to come out here and say, "Bruh, I told you so."
Well, we'll just see that for the next time. But
speaking of bruh, let's have a little fun. This is one of our segments we enjoy, and it is actually called Bruh. This is maybe like Come On Man from Monday Night, maybe like the Doing Too Much from His and Hers, maybe like the Not Top 10 in ESPN. We only got a couple for you though. Max, what you got?
All right, well, I'm gonna go a little close to home for me, and it's the New York Knicks. I don't know. General Hospital could learn more drama from these guys. Like they're more dramatic than every soap opera in that city right now.
They should change their name to New York, bruh.
Honestly, they might as well. The Knicks just Kristaps not wanting to go to his exit meeting. Phil putting Melo on blast, and yet they're one of the most profitable and most valuable franchises in the entire NBA. The Spurs can't even compete for the money that the Knicks bring in, and you know why? It's because of us Knicks fans. We're us New Yorkers. We keep showing up because we love to be angry. We just love it so much. We're just like, the Knicks are playing. I got to go to that game because this ought to be good. I can't wait to see them do this again. What are they going to do now? I mean, they have more bruh moments than JaVale McGee has Shaq and the Fools. This is ridiculous. And now, we still can't get away from it. With Melo and his ex-wife, soon-to-be ex-wife. I mean, dude, how allergic to rings are you, Melo? Your ex-wife just took one away from you. You can't, enjoy your gold medals from the Olympics. God, get it together, Knicks. For the love of God, just, Knicks fans, I'm begging you, stop going to the games. Just stop. They might care about winning if they stop making money. Bruh.
You okay? You want me to fan you? You good?
I'll be right.
Alright, bruh. Let me tell you a little something, bruh. I'm gonna stick with it, bruh. My bruh moment, at least one of them, the LA Lakers. I can't get over this. You are already one of the worst teams in the NBA. You were vying for the last spot in the Western Conference. And then, when it came time to tank, bruh, you tanked at tanking. How do you go on a 5-game win streak in the last 10 games of the season? Bruh, you went 5-1 to end your last 6 games of the season. You know the only team you lost to? The Golden State Warriors. Bruh. And that's because you had no choice. It wasn't like, even when they don't try, they're going to beat the Lakers. Bruh. They took themselves out of maybe having the top 3 pick there, 15% in the lottery now. Because you tanked at tanking. Bruh. That's such a Lakers move. I mean, even Kobe, the greatest winner of Lakers history of all time, basically, would have threw up those shots from half court just to tank. Get it together. Bruh. Here's the last one. And this one doesn't even have to be explained, because the one sentence I will give you all the details, and you'll say it with me. Cleveland Browns are not sure that they want Myles Garrett at number 1. Bruh. That's it.
End of discussion then. The fact is, that would be the biggest Cleveland Browns move made by the Cleveland Browns. But
4th and 20 sports. We're going to switch gears because this is what we've been excited to talk about. This is why we launched today. The NFL draft is upon us. And we see this going down the way everyone else sees it going down. Completely and utterly the wrong way.
Exactly. I just don't understand the logic. You see all these mock drafts going out. We have our mock draft. We'll go over some of our picks in a few minutes. But we're just seeing all these people from number 1 to number 10 are all willing to trade away their pick because they don't know who's number 1 through number 10. I mean, clearly Myles Garrett is number 1.
You know who number 2 is.
Yeah, no. Who is it? Is it Solomon? Is it Taco?
Well, here's the best part about that. That's what we're going to talk about next week. We're going to talk about tonight, this afternoon, and probably until next week. 32 through 16. I like the countdown idea. I do want to ask this question before we jump into what we have for 32 through 16. This QB situation has been messy, man. Mitch Trubisky, Deshaun Watson, Patrick Mahomes has risen like Jesus, basically.
Bro.
He went from being a 3rd or 4th round pick to people seriously considering top 10
What
pick.
donuts did he bring to his interviews?
Every single.
I need to know because I need those kind of prospects.
They're definitely raspberry cream filled. I mean, it's not even.
I don't know, blueberry munchkins, man.
But I mean, where do you see this Mitch Trubisky kid falling? We're gonna do this quick. I don't want to go. I don't want to join into. I don't want to.
Mitch Trubisky sadly is going to be the first quarterback taken off the board, and it's. I think it would make it. I could see the Jets spoiling the Browns, waiting for number 12 and picking him. But I think the Jets, by the graces of God, will make a good decision and not draft him. I think.
You sound like a Jets fan.
Don't you dare.
Just wanted to. All right.
I hope for the best of that team at times because I like Todd Bowles. I think Todd Bowles is a great coach.
I'll give you that. He should still be the coach of the book.
He was. Wasn't he?
No, I'm sorry. I was thinking of Smith. I thought that was a
You're talking about Lovey, right?
Yes, I was thinking about Smith. Sorry.
But to be fair, I think Mitch Trubisky will be passed on by the Jets, and he'll be going number 12 to the Browns, and that's where I got him.
So you don't think Cleveland Browns and draft him one?
No. I swear to you. No.
I wanna do one more top 5 before we go into our 32 to 16. Top 5 number 1 picks in the NFL. I think this one was interesting. Top 5 at number 5. Who do you have? Top 5 number 1 picks in the NFL.
And so basically, what we're talking about here is we're talking about the number 1 overall draft picks. Now that includes David Carr. And that also includes Peyton Manning. So we're really going through.
Please tell me you just went from just about the worst to just about the best.
Just to give the range of what we're talking about here. I mean, what I'm trying to say is
you put David Carr in the same sentence as Peyton Manning.
I mean, he backed up Eli. He has more. He has actually the same amount of Super Bowls as Peyton Manning.
Oh my God!
Isn't that a fun fact, everybody? I think that's a good fact.
That's like saying Paul Giamatti and Vin Diesel are the same age. Which
also a fact. But anyway, for mine, I had the guy that was the backbone of the offensive line of the greatest show on turf. At number 5, Orlando Pace, a Hall of Fame lineman, one of the best left tackles I've ever seen. I really think that when they picked him number 1, there were a lot of questions, but he proved all doubters wrong, deserving of being in the top 5 of number 1 overall picks.
All right, keep going. Number 4.
Number 4, I got Earl Campbell. When you watch some of his tape, that was a bad man. I couldn't fit my arms around his leg. One of them. That man had thighs the size of tree trunks, and he could hit people. Unfortunately, the gear back then was not very good, and it led to knee troubles. But when he came in, he's the reason that those Houston Oilers were a playoff contender every year. And he did not stop. Yeah. You needed 6 people to stop him.
He was running all over the place. Number 3, who you got?
The Juice. Yeah. I know he's a controversial kind of guy, but that doesn't change the fact that O.J. Simpson was one of the best players ever to grace the Buffalo Bills franchise. He, in less games, he had over 2,000 yards. They didn't have a 16-game season. They played 14, I believe. And
at number 3, he had some hands, too.
I don't think the gloves fit. But for O.J. Simpson, I think he's one of the best running backs that this league has ever gotten to see. I mean, hey, that's why you need your juice. The Bills needed him, and he became an essential part of that team.
Number 2.
Number 2, this was one of my tougher ones.
Yeah.
See, number 2, I went with John Elway. Because John Elway is clearly one of the best quarterbacks of all time. And when he went number 1, it was a huge controversial thing because he was drafted by the Baltimore Colts.
Right.
But they were just so not sure of what to do that he ended up on the Broncos. And I know that it took him so many years of playing playing so hard and not getting to that ring until basically his final 3 years. And he finally got one because of the great Terrell Davis actually giving them a balanced offense. But I really believe that John Elway at number 2 is one of the best quarterbacks ever to be playing, let alone one of the best number 1 overall picks.
Which leads you to your number 1 overall pick.
And it's one of the Manning brothers. But it's Peyton.
If you made the biggest New York Giants thing ever and said Eli.
I went with Peyton Manning. The fact is, Peyton Manning not only brought attention to a lot of people's careers, and I think he should be very grateful of Marshall Faulk. Marshall Faulk gave him a quarterback next to him when he started his career. But I think that Peyton Manning, he's broken almost every record.
Yeah.
Almost every record. And although I don't think he earned his second Super Bowl, he still got 2. Same amount as Eli. But, he finally got past Tom Brady once in a while. But, I think that's because Tom Brady was like, I got 5.
Here. Peyton, you're great. Have one.
Right. So
we weren't too different. I mean, I think in a way we got some of the same people. I'll only explain ones that you didn't have. Number 5, I got Bo Jackson. I mean, this just a pure athlete. I mean, played football, played baseball, played great baseball. I don't know about better football. I mean, he was a force, man. This man, he wasn't Earl Campbell running over people, but he'd get around you, he'd get over you.
Until he got hurt. I mean, although it's him running over the bars, that was a great run right there.
Yeah, you could play that all day and on loop, and you never get tired of it. Number 4, I also had Earl Campbell in the same spot you did. Same thought process. It's just a tank. Just going to run you through, and there's not much you can do about it. 3rd, I got Mike Vick. Now, not so much on all of his achievements and things of that nature, but just kind of the way he transcended the game. I mean, if you look at the quarterback position pre-Michael Vick and post-Michael Vick, he transcended that position. Even if you're a pocket passer nowadays, unless that's just the only offense you run, you're looking for somebody who's got some mobility, who's got that type of arm.
And you don't get Tyrod Taylors. You don't get Marcus Mariota's without a Michael Vick presence.
And just that swagger was real too. I mean, second, I also had John Elway. Just the pedigree there. You can't pass up on that. And number 1, Peyton Manning, obviously just one of the greatest regular season quarterbacks of all time. He put it together. He's got record after record after record. First family in the NFL. I mean, what else do you want? Top 5, easy picks. Easy pick for me. Not as easy as when you put it next to John Elway, but when you really look at it, that's just kind of how I saw it going down. That's our second to last top 5 of the day. 4th&20 Sports. We got one more segment for you, and it's us breaking down 32 through 16 of the NFL draft. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's get something straight.
We are wrong. We are wrong by a lot. But the fact is, so are you.
So are you. This is
like predicting the bracket.
And it's worse because in the bracket you're just like, oh, well, maybe they make this shot. Here you're trying to think of what these geniuses may do on a board of 32 different minds without even all the prospects of possibly trading.
Some of them with the same amount of GM experience as us,
right?
John Lynch.
Yeah, right. All right, so let's get this started here.
Starting out at 32 is the New Orleans Saints got another pick from the New England Patriots. And I went with, I think that their secondary, especially that they're going to have several picks, I went that they are going to go with a guy named Obi Melifonwu. Great corner, good tape. His man coverage isn't where it needs to be, but they play a zone kind of defense. So I think that is going to be a lot better and beneficial for the New Orleans Saints.
All right, with the Saints, my pick here. Ooh, that's interesting. My pick here, I think we're both in the same idea where they need a secondary. They're going to now need a wide receiver after letting Brandon Cooks go. I mean, you got Michael Thomas, and that's something to kind of go off of. But I went with Kevin King, the cornerback out of Washington. There's news that they actually really like this guy, and he's a pretty good cornerback. I mean, he's not, obviously top of the line. We're at pick 32 for a reason. But I think that's a good pick for them if he's still on the board there. A lot of the issues, as you'll see as we go through this, that I had was, when it becomes a need pick versus a best available pick. And it's just so hard to figure that out when you don't know who's going to be left on the board.
Right.
So if Kevin King is here, amongst others, obviously, I think this is where they go. This is one of the deepest positions in the draft this year is that secondary. So, if they miss out here, there's going to be other players they can grab. But I grab Kevin King here. Go up one. My Atlanta Falcons. Here in this pick, I got them going with the defensive end, and I think this will be a sort of a best available pick because what they really need is an offensive lineman. But I think surprisingly, a lot of the offensive linemen are going to be taken off the board sooner than a lot of people think. It's not a deep offensive lineman.
But that's why they got to go fast.
Right, exactly my point. So I have them drafting Derek Barnett, the defensive end out of Tennessee here. And to me, I think that's a best available pick, and this is how the chips fell once I put it together.
See, and that's surprising to me. I have Derek Barnett going higher in my draft just because Derek Barnett is a very, very skilled DN. In fact, some people had him going in their top 10.
Yeah.
But I went with Charles Harris, also a defensive lineman. I agree with you on the fact that they need an interior lineman, especially with how old their line is getting. But I do think that even though it's a very shallow class, I think that the proper training, the proper development, you can take a third-round flyer on some of these guys. You can take a fourth-round pick, and you can develop someone. In fact, Arizona State, their linemen aren't even talked about, but they had a running back that broke Ron Dame's record.
Right.
So is it all that guy, or is it the lineman maybe making a few blocks for him? I think that you can find some value later on in the draft in linemen. But Charles Harris, really, really disruptive interior.
Yeah.
And I think their defensive tackle position is very important. I know, and Gus Bradley is really into getting through the line and rushing the quarterback to make a bad throw.
Well,
and so that's why I went.
Well, my thing here and why I went DN is, they just got Dontari Poe, and I think the big thing is finding him some help. And if you do it all in the middle, you're very easy to be stopped. So if you get that help on the edge from a defensive end, like a Derek Barnett or.
Well, and I would agree with you. I just don't see Barnett being
available. Fair. All right. So next you had.
I have Adoree Jackson, another
going to the Steelers.
Going
right?
to the Steelers. Yeah. Now he's a corner, and I know a lot of people think that they're more linebacker based, and I would have had them get a linebacker that I think is super valuable, but the team I have picking before them takes him. But Adoree Jackson, I'm 100% on would really solidify it. If he wouldn't be a corner, he could be a better safety for them. But they've been missing that kind of secondary intensity, and I think his fire and his love for the game is really something that I like, and that's something that the Steelers really developed well. Is if you want to be good, they make you great. The fact is, James Harrison didn't come in with anyone liking him, and he became one of the greatest Steelers of all time.
Yeah, out of retirement for the Steelers. That's a love of a franchise right there. I am very firm that the Pittsburgh Steelers need some defense, but for some reason, there's a lot of talk about them going wide receiver, and this is a pick that just kind of fell here. It's a higher pick that I think will probably go a little bit higher. But again, just kind of the way that my draft just kind of worked out here, I think they go grab another wide receiver. And I I know, because you got
I might just say something. You got Martavis Bryant. What? The only reason you draft another wide receiver is because you're afraid a couple of them are going to smoke some more weed.
Yeah, basically, that's about it. But I also think they could get a good slot guy or a good. Here's the thing: if Martavis Bryant stays on the field, why not have someone like a Corey Davis, who I put here, who could possibly go a lot higher? I mean, he was a big-time receiver at Western Michigan. I get it. I understand that. When you have someone like Mike Williams, and you have someone like John Ross up there, where a lot of people are excited on, you put this Corey Davis kid on there, and now you have every offensive weapon known to man, and it's not like you're not going to find a decent defensive player in the second round. I feel like, and you're going to say something that's going to blow your mind, besides the Patriots, Pittsburgh's actually one of my favorites to go to the Super Bowl this year. If they get some defense, because that offense is going to be almost impossible.
So then why would they draft a wide receiver?
I hear that. Like I said earlier, a lot of the things, a need pick versus the best available pick sometimes, man. Like, if this is what happens here, the wide receiver stops almost maybe halfway through the second round.
That's silly.
I get you. And hey, maybe next week I come with a different idea here.
Yeah.
Man, look around. Anyways, my next pick is actually where I have Adoree Jackson with the Green Bay Packers, because as much as they need some running back help, they need that back help, that secondary help way more. You saw it. Aaron Rodgers had to Russell Westbrook them out of every game and got them to the NFC Championship game. But I think they need to start with secondary. It's as simple as that. Adoree Jackson's he's got great vision. He's got great footwork. He knows how to track the ball in the air. Everything they'd be looking for a cornerback at that position. I think that's a very easy one for me, at least.
I think it's about time that Green Bay starts finding a new Clay Matthews. I think Clay Matthews has done his service for that team, and he's made a great moves for him. But I think that one of my favorite players coming out of Wisconsin is T.J. Watt, J.J.'s brother. Now, if he can even play with 70% of the intensity that his brother does, then he's going to be a Pro Bowler for sure.
Yeah.
And I think that Green Bay, he already knows how to play in Wisconsin.
Right.
He'd be a hometown favorite. And I think that he's intelligent enough, and he played so well for Wisconsin, that I think he sneaks into the first round right here at the end, and I think he is a great fit for the Green Bay Packers.
And that's my only thing. I didn't get him into the first round, and I think it's because if he does go in the first round, it would be something where like it just comes out of nowhere. T.J. Watt's got a lot of upside, but that's the problem. It's an upside. It's something that he's going to have to work to get there, and if you can spend a second round pick on him, I mean, I think you hold on and you do that. But if you get him in the first round, you're drafting a great player. You're drafting somebody with family pedigree, somebody who's going to make it in the NFL, who's going to have a great, serviceable career. Don't get me wrong.
And he's got the upside you need.
Yeah. Who you got next?
For the Dallas Cowboys, they need a lot of help in their secondary. They didn't bring in anyone good, and they only lost some of their players there. Now, because of how much Jabril Peppers believes he's a safety and how much Jerry Jones makes questionable decisions, I believe that Jabril Peppers is the Dallas Cowboys pick. I see him falling this far. I know he was in the Heisman, but you're undefined. He's an undefined position. He could play linebacker. He could play safety. He's really just a good punt returner. But I think he's got the motor and the want, and then you combine him with the chance of playing with Jalen Smith if he comes back healthy. I think that's a very good young core that the defense is starting to set up on.
You don't think because he's such a versatile player is the reason he goes higher? He finds himself into a position where he can play that safety position. He can play in a 3-4 type of set or a 4th or somewhere he can rush off the edge or play back. I mean, you can put you've seen teams on certain packages line these safety type players with that size up at a linebacker edge rush spot. Like it's not. The
thing is, the Cardinals use Deion Buchanan just like that. But my thing with Jabril Peppers is I think if you can, he's a poor man's Troy Polamalu. He's not going to be great in coverage. He seems to find his way around the ball, though. But I think he's going to be better run stopping, having a strong safety position, than he is going to be anything else. And that's why I think that's something the best safety they've had in Dallas is Barry Church, and I'm pretty sure he's gone.
Yeah, yes, he is gone. I want to say he went to Jacksonville now.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he's in maybe Tennessee. Either Jacksonville or Tennessee. I mean, I'll check on that one day, but it won't be right now.
Right.
I will stick with you in the fact that the Cowboys need some secondary. So I have Tre'Davious White going there from LSU, and it's a need pick. So I'm not going to spend too much time on that. We can get to it later. But moving up one, Kansas City. As I mentioned, Dontari Poe's gone. So now they need a replacement on that line. And, the linebacker or the DL spot's what you're looking at. And because the linebackers aren't really that deep this year, or not too far deep, I have Takaris McKinley for UCLA going there. Good hands, great rush. He's a great edge rusher. You've seen him put people on his back over and over and over again. So I figured that's just kind of where he fit for me. He may go higher, he may go lower. Who knows, as I said.
For me, when it comes to Kansas City, I think it's finally time to give up on Alex Smith. As I already said earlier, he's mediocre at best.
Why?
And I think it's time to give a project to someone who's risen up draft boards crazy, Patrick Mahomes. I think he will make a great fit backing up Alex Smith for another year until they realize the only thing holding them back is Alex Smith. I mean, that defense is legit. It's always been legit. And I don't think that they're going to be missing Dontari Poe that much. I think that they have developed well enough in that position. So I'm going Patrick Mahomes because I think Kansas City realizes that if you can have a quarterback go a full year without hitting a wide receiver for a touchdown, you probably need a quarterback.
Or you need a new wide receivers. You know when that ended? When they got rid of Dwayne Bowe. The very next year. Oh, look, a receiver got a touchdown. It ended quick. Tyreek Hill's got a bunch of touchdowns this year. I'm just saying. I know Alex Smith is not great, but just because the system that he plays in doesn't have him throwing for 50 yards every little throw, doesn't. You know what? I'm not even. No, we're talking about.
We gotta move
not
on.
what we're talking about. But I will say this: I think you're sleeping on Patrick Mahomes. I know he's a prospect who was supposed to go so low, but I mean he's just risen. I have him going much higher, but we'll get to that in a little bit. Let's talk some big name teams here. We know the Seattle Seahawks need linemen. That's fine. Houston Texans is a question that they have going on all over the place. Who do you have for the Texans?
Texans, I have them taking up David Njoku from Miami, the tight end. Yeah, I think it's a solid pick. I think they need help, and they don't have a quarterback, so the best pass catchers that they're going to find to help that quarterback is going to be a tight end, and he's a very good pass catcher.
I am one of the very few people who does not think Deshaun Watson will fall all the way to the second round, and if you do, 32 teams, or I guess it's 29 teams with 3 Ps not taken, missed out on a great player. Preferably 28 because obviously one will pick him, but Texans obviously need a QB. Tom Savage is not the answer. We know that. Griffin didn't play horrible. Griffin's going to be I think Griffin's going to be a great tight end for them next year. He came on a real good way. We both don't remember the other O'Shaughnessy's name, or O'Shaq Hennessy, whatever you want to call him. I think their tight ends aren't, elite tight ends, but they're not tight ends that you're not going to look their way when they're open. Ryan Griffin, I think, will be okay. And I think if you have a quarterback who's not Brock Osweiler, the $78 million man or whatever it was, I think someone finds DeAndre Hopkins. Deshaun Watson, with DeAndre Hopkins, do you realize what a team tandem that would be?
And Lamar Miller.
And what's the kid's
and
name?
Will Fuller and
Will
Braxton
Fuller?
Miller. No, they have the weapons there that a quarterback needs to hit. But the fact is, if you don't have the quarterback to throw the ball, and let's be fair, I would have had the Texans drafting a quarterback if I didn't think that they don't want to risk it on Patrick Mahomes, and I think Deshaun Watson actually goes earlier.
All right.
But wait,
we'll talk about this.
Do you have tight ends going in this draft? They must be coming up for you, right?
Well,
okay.
with all the uncertainty in the top 10 picks, I haven't been able to find a spot for a tight end yet, and it's hard for me because I know OJ Howard goes in here somewhere. I know he goes in here somewhere, but I couldn't find a spot because after the people picked where they needed, as a best available player, is he better available than such a good player in a team need position is where my issue came. And I tried to find a spot for OJ Howard. Was it the Jets? I think they're going to be dumb and make a QB decision, or and we'll talk about this next week when we do some trade talk for the draft. I think the Jets may trade out of that spot, which may be the reason OJ Howard doesn't go somewhere. Couldn't find him. I couldn't find him a spot. Maybe the Chargers take a flyer on a tight end, instead of going
You
with
know,
that
replace
secondary help.
Antonio Gibson, but Hunter Henry
right?
played so well.
And that was something I had. I mean, the Bills, but they really need secondary help. If I find a spot for O.J. Howard in the first round, which I maybe will, I'll let you know. If you guys out there know where he should go, please tell me. I need your help. I'm just saying. So, but you had them going to the Raiders. I mean,
And Derek Carr needs a tight end. I mean, let's face it, Michael Rivera is not a good one. He hasn't proven to be good. He had like one good season fantasy-wise, but not even a good season after that. And, you know, you can only hope so much that Amari Cooper will he can't catch every ball in double coverage. He can't.
Yes,
he
he
can try.
Yes, he
but
can.
No.
Yes, he can.
And O.J. Howard.
That's exactly what he can do.
And O.J. Howard, but then O.J. Howard would just be so.
It would be. It's
I mean,
not far.
yeah. But then, like next, a lot of people question me on this, and I think it would be silly. The fact that Deshaun Watson people project going in the second round is stupid to me. I don't think it's right, and that's why I have the Giants also preparing for the future and drafting Deshaun Watson. Good, speechless. Moving on to the next pick.
Yeah, let's do that because the words that may come out of my mouth are not good for live television. I mean, I get that they're doing all crazy types of things on Facebook Live, but we're not that type of show, so I'm not gonna put you down. Yeah, okay.
Anyway,
You have the Giants drafting Deshaun Watson.
It's about time, man. And like, I love you.
In the first round, though, that's, you know what? And to be honest, I'm not disputing that they get a QB this year because it is almost Eli's time to be up. But I don't see it in the first round. I think they want to give him another chance to win one more ring.
Well, then, like, what? I don't think that
You protect him. He needs protection.
I agree, but
Your boy Eli was on vacation all season. You know why? Because he was laying on his back relaxing. It may have hurt when he was relaxing, but he was laying on his back a lot of the season. His defense,
He's laying on his back a lot during the regular season.
their defense is on the way up with Landon Collins back there and Eli Apple back there. They need to protect this man, and then they need to get him another running back. But we will talk about that later. So I won't go off on him. I won't go off on him too hard. Let's move up. Let's do a big name here for me. And a lot of people were not gonna like this one either. I had Mike Williams kind of fall out. He fell a little low to me. I know he's a great player. I know he's got those big hands. He's a tall target. But I have him going to Detroit. They need that Calvin Johnson. They need that Calvin Johnson replacement. And
Golden Tate and Marvin Jones did a serviceable job, but this is a 3 wide receiver.
Yeah, it definitely is. 100%.
But that's why, like, I agree with you on the wide receiver part. But I want Corey Davis because, as you said about him being in the slot, that's where he would fit in with Golden Tate and Marvin Jones on the outside. Like, you have Marvin Jones doing the streaks. You have Golden Tate doing his curls and his
See, with your pick of Corey Davis or my pick of Mike Williams, and this isn't to diminish his value, I think I'd put Golden Tate in the slot. That quick runner that can do it all player type of thing, and then you have 2 big targets on the outside.
And I can see that, but I think that's a great wide receiving core that can alternate and really confuse corners. I think it would really, like, if you saw a great matchup, you can put anyone everywhere. As long as they learn their route trees, that's what I think.
Since we're still underneath the 16, I see you had him up here. Where'd you had Mike Williams going to?
To the Titans.
Yeah.
They couldn't get a wide receiver to go to him in free agency. They might as well draft one. That guy has no choice to go there. And I don't know why no one would want to play with Marcus Mariota, only the most efficient red zone quarterback since being drafted.
And he is a big target. Yeah. And this is actually another place we both agree on a wide receiver, but I've heard that they really like John Ross.
I don't know why Marcus Mariota's deep ball doesn't agree with him.
Well, that's okay because he gives John Ross a slant, Odell Beckham style, and he's riding up the seam. Who's catching him? 4-2-2.
I'm saying is he gets a little bit slower with pads on, and he's also had
4-3-2.
He's had injury history, so I'd be nervous for him.
Big name you had as we get nearer to the 16th spot. Big name you had here, Dalvin Cook, our boy, running back right here from Tallahassee.
Yeah, I haven't gone with the Bucks. I think the Bucks are going to give up on Doug Martin this year. I think they're going to look for suitors. And you know what? Doug Martin has shown up for camp, and he is at voluntary workouts. I think that you're going to see a similar situation when they draft Dalvin to the DeMarco Murray and Derrick Henry. that really worked out for Tennessee. One of the best rushing attacks in the league. People didn't think DeMarco Murray had another good year in him. A lot of people don't think that Doug Martin has another one. But you know what? The running back by committee only works when you have two good running backs. I mean, hey, even Devontae Freeman and Telvin Coleman made it work for the Falcons, right?
Yeah, but Devontae Freeman, I'm not going to use the word elite, but if you ask me, Dalvin's here's my issue. Here's my issue with the pick. As much as I love that pick, because I would love to have Dalvin down there with J-Mo and them doing what they do. One, I think Dalvin actually ends up a little bit off the board before that. I actually have him going just 2 spots up to the Redskins. I think he moves off the board. But one of his knocks is, he fumble issues. We watched this. We've both been frustrated over it. He drops passes. He's a great pass catcher who drops passes, which baffles me because that's so contradicting, but it's so true. I mean, even he doesn't believe it when he drops his passes because I've watched this man take a swing pass out the back, it falls his hands, and he just looked down the ball in disbelief. But that happens more than you like it.
That's more of a mental thing. It's not his hands; it's him running before he had the ball.
Do you catch the ball with your mind, or do you catch the ball with your hands?
I'm just saying.
This is actually where I have Jabril Peppers going because here's the thing: Tampa Bay's defense came up in the end of the season last year. They had a couple holes, and it was that secondary. You got your help. You got your help on that line for Gerald McCoy. You got Chris Baker there now. You got Quan Alexander back there. Devontae
one of the best linebacking corps
that
in
front
all of
seven
the NFL.
is really, really good. It's not the secondary, and they pass all over you. All over you. So if you have a guy like safety who wants to be a safety in Jabril Peppers, who I think does fall out of the top 10, this is a great spot for Jabril Peppers. I don't know if many people think about it or see it that way. I wouldn't be surprised if he ended up here. I'd actually be ecstatic because hey, I got one right. But I think this would be a great. Spot for them to pick a safety. If they get a defense, this is how the Bucs get into the playoffs. They fix that offense. You get a defensive player in the first round. You get a lineman in the second round. Maybe even a defensive lineman in the second round. And I think you give Doug Martin and Ja'Marr Rogers that one more year. I just do.
Well, I think we're going to be posting this.
Yeah.
We're going to be posting at least our 16 through 32, just so that we don't give away any secrets for next week.
Right.
But we really want to hear your opinions on this, guys. Yeah. Without you guys, we don't really know what we're talking about either. So please make sure that you're following us on Twitter. Make sure that you're following us on Facebook. Subscribe to us on iTunes. Make sure that you're on your SoundCloud. We're everywhere. You're going to find 4th and 20 Sports.
4th and 20
and
Sports.
we're so excited to be here with you guys officially. I know we went a little over what we said we would, but
when the content's good,
when you got voices like
these, when it's smooth.
But we're excited, and don't worry, it's only going to get better from here. And we're so excited. Thank you guys again for joining us. I'm Max.
And I'm AJ, 4th and 20 Sports. We just went live, and we will see you guys next week.